but like I'm not at that stage of my life where I'm gonna put up art Wait, so who's
Hello,
on here?
everybody. It's us. We're here.
Who's in chat?
Pretty sure it's just a Liv. Maybe one other person. Lydia's
So
there.
no lift. Okay, I got a story for you. Okay, see this watch?
No.
Sorry, it's a joke. I just spent 10 minutes telling a story about how I got this watch before this, and it was a long-winded story.
Oh man, it was great. Before that, I was ranting about college. It was such a good time. Anyway, what's up? This is Table Scraps. We are the Paper Dungeon. I'm Aaron. I play in our main campaign. DJ is our wonderful DM. Lydia is also stuck here with me. Gosh dang, the other DeFore is here. I'm so sorry for calling you the other DeFore.
Calling me the other DeFore?
Huh?
Or
Marshall.
Yeah, Marshall.
I should probably just pull
you know,
up so I can
the other DeFore.
There's lots of DeFores. They're all great people too.
Yeah, but yeah, we normally play Dungeons and Dragons. We have a main stream on Mondays, and that's what we talk about here on Table Scraps for the most part, unless we're talking about watches or college, or pretty much anything we want. This is uber casual. So what it's here for, we normally just talk about like what happened in the last session, which, let me tell you some, if you read the description of the stream today, some pretty saucy things happened.
Romance?
I didn't see the title.
Yeah, look, if it's Table Scraps, you always want to check that title.
I'm learning.
Yeah, had some pretty fun things. I have to go through a couple of, I'm contractually obligated to go through a couple of things beforehand. Mainly, we have socials like Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. I don't know if YouTube counts as a social. TikTok is there. TikTok is poppin'.
TikTok is popping.
Other than that, join our Discord if you haven't already, because our Discord's really cool. Speaking of really cool things, I'm sure you've met Lydia.
Hi.
Really cool things. I'm sorry, I have officially objectified you. She has a store which you can buy actual objects. And they're really awesome and have really good art. And you should buy them and give her your money. Support small business owners in the form of Lydia Corinne. Or as we fondly refer to her as, Lydia Corn. We also have our own merch, as Lydia has kindly put in the thing of our website, where you can go there and things are not, they're there. They are 100% there. That is the thing that we have. I'm really good at this. I'm not sure if you've noticed.
You're doing great, sweetie.
You're doing great, sweetie.
I also love the fact that you said you're contractually obligated to say all this when you own this whole thing. Like
I'm contractual. I wrote it in myself.
Yeah.
I wrote up a paper. And it said to sign Aaron, and I signed it. And I'm like, well, there's the contract. I don't think I have a whole lot else. You may get a cameo of Grant to this stream, because 30 minutes ago... No, he won't show up. But 30 minutes ago, he messaged me, want me to drop off any food for Table Scraps at 2:16? I responded at 2:36, 20 minutes later. I only read this now. Go for it. Surprise me. So he may just show up on camera at some point in time with a bunch of random food for me. Or he might not. Who knows? I may have just baited you. Wow, viewership jumped up real fast out of nowhere.
Yeah, because romance.
Like 3 people. Romance, that is fair. Speaking of romance, we had a shopping... Wait, no, that was not... Last episode...
That's not what we did.
That's not what we did.
That was 2 episodes ago. I don't know, I like shopping.
Shopping episode was fun.
Yeah, the shopping episode was great. It was a super
I actually
good
really
time.
enjoyed that episode because it was a perfect combination of like, you guys Scooby-Dooed it, where like you had a whole mystery, but you did it all in one session. It was great. It was perfect.
It was how a one shot should be. That it never happens that way, but it's how it should work. Oh yeah, last episode, man, things happened. We picked up the stuff that we bought during the shopping episode. That's a thing that we did.
That we did do.
Of which my favorite moment was me going, "Hey Grant, do you want this cloak?" And he goes, "No." And I'm like, "Grant, do you know what this cloak does?" And he goes, "No." And then I explain what the cloak does, and he's like, "Oh shit, that's really good." I think
Actually, yeah, I think I do want that.
I think I do want that.
Classic.
God.
Classic.
Grant.
Grant not knowing how to play the game.
Yeah, and then we left the Dwarven Stronghold, which is a super fun time. Absolutely nothing happened. Made our way through the mountains into the Scarlet Wastes. Here for funsies. Are you just here for fun? I get distracted really easily. I'm sorry.
Focus, Aaron.
I'm trying so
Otherwise,
hard.
I have to do the recap, and I'm not good at that.
But yeah, we ended up in the Scarlet Wastes. It was a super, super great time filled with happiness and sunshine and rainbows, where
100%.
nothing bad ever happens.
Not at all.
It never floods in the desert.
Nope.
There's never any emaciated Genasi and Eladrin. That I can never remember the name of Eladrin.
Eladrin?
Yeah, it's like in the moment someone's like, "Hey, who's the Fey elves?" And I'm like, "They're the elves that are Fey-ish."
They're all Fey.
They're like,
Kind
yeah.
of thing.
And then so DJ had to remind me what Eladrin were called. But there's none of those, and we definitely don't end up in a demon palace to escape the rain and hell creatures.
We didn't do that.
Kind of ironic. Like, hey, I know what we should do when we're running from Satan. Let's go to hell.
No. See, that's where you're wrong, Aaron.
Oh, you're right.
You guys escaped hell by going to Tartarus.
Yeah. Easy. It's not at all an out of the frying pan situation.
Frying pan into the oven.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That is not the correct quote.
Whatever.
Close enough. But yeah, and none of that happens. Lydia definitely does not officially pursue a romance with the Demon Prince of Pleasure, Graz'zt.
No.
Freaking time.
The romance was a bait. I got you all.
It was a trick.
None of it happens. And then we deleted the Paper Dungeon Twitch channel.
Then we deleted it all. That's the end of the Paper Dungeon.
That was the end
All
of
done.
the game.
Yeah, I started.
This isn't even real.
I started it back up just for
thing
Table
you need to
Scraps on
do.
Thursdays because I knew that the people would want it. They would riot if we didn't. After this, I guess we're just done.
Well, that was fun.
Lydia, it was nice knowing you. We'll never talk again.
Yep. All right. See you later.
Yep.
As in.
Sorry.
And. Yeah.
So it was nice knowing you, everybody. We can.
All right. Bye.
Let's see. Table Scraps. All right. We will see you never, guys.
If you go to like the end screen, I'm gonna laugh so hard.
No. Bring it back.
I want to.
All right, guys. Psych, we gotcha.
Tricked you.
Yep, tricked you twice. All that stuff that I said didn't happen, it did happen.
Get pranked.
Yep. So now I get to the actual. Wow, this has been a real interesting start to this episode of Table Scraps.
We're in a weird mood.
It's just a spit take.
But I now ask. We're back to the normal stuff. Asking the normal questions. I'll start with Lydia because you're a player and your opinion matters. Unlike DJ's, who is a DM, so
get wrecked.
I see player DM. I thought you meant like player, like
because you will play a Lydia Corinne.
Like,
she will play a. I mean, look, I'm not gonna lie. You are hitting, like, out of the ballpark right now. You are batting above your average when it comes to romance interests in Dungeons & Dragons.
I'm gonna be honest. I did literally nothing.
A little bit out of your league right there. You know, 100%,
I did literally nothing.
Like, hitting out of your weight class, pulling the Demon Prince of Pleasure. Thoughts, opinions. What are you gonna do with it? Is you just end it next stream? What's up?
I have no idea. I didn't think that was gonna happen at all.
Well, it did. So what now?
I don't know. I don't know what now.
Quality.
And I was like trying to think about it. I'm like, oh shoot, what now? And I was like, crap. What now? Yep. I have no idea. And Renaya has no idea. So it's pretty fitting.
I'm going to give you some advice as a good friend.
Okay.
Where you should do something with that acronyms into DTR. You need to define the relationship. All right. What exactly are you? This is good advice. What exactly are you? What are your boundaries?
Exclusive, like what's the values here? You gotta take care of the people,
Exactly.
I don't know. I'm excited to see where we pick up though, because we picked up with Renaya just running away.
The perfect ending.
I did relate it to like when a very experienced dater starts dating someone who's never dated before, and how like they're very confident, and then the one who hasn't dated before just doesn't know what to do about anything or how anything works. It did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It'll be entertaining. I think. Gosh, Renaya in that kind of situation is so funny.
Now I get to bring back backstory characters just to further.
Oh man, I'm so excited to meet your.
Oh no, you're not.
I'm so excited.
Oh no.
Because you've officially like mentioned your like Renaya's ex-boyfriend like 4 times maybe.
Yeah.
And I am so excited for this like I in my head this is what I imagine.
Okay.
Now I don't actually think he's an elf, but I do imagine him as one just because it for some reason it fits the like punk aesthetic in my mind. Where he's like the like guys that are like really tall and like they aren't like emaciated, but they're just like thin to the point where you're like, oh no, we lost DJ. Oh well. But they're like they like wear big clothes and it makes them look thinner. Yeah, that, and it's like punk, like a jacket that is way too big. And oh Grant, are you gonna get me food or no? Sorry, this is distracted. And like not like slicked back hair, but it's just greasy enough that it kind of flops. It definitely is like a teal blue, like highlight. Lots of eyeliner, like super like absolute edgelord, toxic, like punk. That is entirely how I imagine your ex-boyfriend, and it's great because you are like Renaya from a base glance is a complete opposite visually of that. And that is what I would like. Just it's very think Robbie from Gravity Falls.
No.
That's the image that I pull in my mind. Except hotter edge elf. That's my brain visualization.
No.
Not anywhere close. It's either that or Fabio,
I mean, some elements, and in some I mean like I think 2 maybe.
Nice, tall and skinny.
What kind of? I don't know.
Nailed it. Exact 1-to-1. Yeah, I'm excited for that to happen. Thanks for the gosh dang lead and DJ on that one. First off, I had a great time during your Graz'zt conversation.
You Tarak being there was hilarious.
I thought that was it was fun for me.
Oh, that was so funny.
I enjoy playing the not quite your dad, but like kind of your dad. Like more of like a very friendly cousin. Who's like, yo, this is my cousin. Step off, bruv. Like, I will straight up end your career. Like, this is what I'm about. So DJ, you're back.
Hi, DJ.
Sorry,
we're talking about Tarak being there.
That was fun for me.
It was dumb.
No, it was so good.
It was really funny.
Also, I love. Someone mentioned earlier.
Did Grant show up and I missed it?
Yeah. That's what you get for leaving.
Hopefully, by him saying that he was on the move, that means that he's on the way to my house with food. but someone mentioned, who was it? Nilif mentioned that they were glad that the bard was not involved in any of the romance.
Yes.
Grant's reaction of complete obliviousness to like the actual situation. Like he walks in, he's like, "Are these scented candles? This seems, they're like rose. Why is it? This is like a Valentine's suite. Does this seem romantic to anyone else? That seems kind of weird."
I loved just Grant freaking like Cather's the one who's like, okay, well let's like look at, okay, why did you guys
Cather being so bad with so relationships,
so bad, and but then Edward being like, he's a demon prince. Am I the only one who's noticing this?
I will never get over those. They are the two worst people to have at your side regarding any relationship, to be 100% honest, because you have Edward, who's like, you're like, man, I think I like this person, and they're like, have you seen them? That's Edward. And then you have gosh dang Cather, and you're like, what does this mean? And he's like, well, if that were me, it would mean that you're stupid and dumb and no one likes you and you're ugly. And you're like, what? Like, there's no, like, I don't know, I think you're just gonna have to figure it out. Like, this is maybe what it means, but I don't know, do your stuff. And it's like, no, I would take that as, probably that they just don't like you. That's, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it means.
It's pretty great. I'm not gonna lie, kind of my favorite dynamic.
It's so
that whole conversation of Renaya just like slowly realizing that everything she thought might be wrong, or she was right, and just like being so confused was awesome.
Yeah. Well, and I had been thinking about it because I'm like, okay, if something happens, Renaya has not been responsive to a lot of the things that Graz'zt has done.
It's been terrifying. It's been immensely frustrating.
I know.
As
and
DJ,
part of that
player.
Part of that is the unfortunate circumstance that Renaya is played by Lydia, and Lydia doesn't respond well to things, apparently, according to DJ. But then,
Renaya
so I was like,
respond to things. I don't know about Lydia, but
Lydia.
Ooh.
So Renaya then, so I was thinking about it with Renaya, and I was like, first of all, Renaya thought, like, first of all, Demon Prince of Pleasure. She kind of talked about it a little bit. Demon Prince of Pleasure. Like, this is just how he is. Mm-hmm. She didn't think she was, like, anything special. And the only thing that was special about her was the whole, like, halak thing. Blah, 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 blah. So, yeah. So that was kind of her main reasons for just not getting it.
Well, yeah, it's like, it felt like a very... like when a superstar, like celebrity, like how I imagine it would feel to like try to get in a relationship with anyone, where it's like, do you actually like me, or do you like me because I'm rich and famous? Mm-hmm. Like, it's really hard to tell. I wouldn't know because I'm neither rich nor famous. But that's how I imagine it would feel like. And I think that was played very well as a... And perhaps it was complete obliviousness regardless, but I think that's how I took it. So I think that if that was what you're aiming for, you nailed it.
Well, and the other part is, Renaya also, like, has a hard time reciprocating, because it's also like, what do you... A lot of the stuff that's been given to Renaya are, like, these gifts and, like, and all these, like, big elaborate things, and she's noticed them as, like, romantic, but she's like, I can't give anything back. She's like, anything I can give back is, like, plain
chump change.
Well, something to keep in mind, which will probably be a good conversation to have with Graz'zt, and he already kind of like hinted at it a little bit, is the fact that everything that Graz'zt has ever done in his entire life has been extremely superficial and what's the word I'm looking for?
Vain.
Other word. Yeah, vain. You know, very, very
egotistical.
Very, another word for superficial.
Self-indulgent.
You know, these are not the words I'm thinking. You know, these are.
I just pulled up my list of things to describe DJ with.
So, anyway. We're just gonna move on from that.
Just keep going. Ignore him.
Crispy.
This is all. Man, now I'm flustered. Good job, Aaron. Way to go.
Should have been a bard, dude.
The idea of a emotionally and like an emotionally intimate relationship, and one that is loving and not lustful, is completely new and foreign to him as well. Like, he knows how to, you know, woo you and you know, make you feel certain things, but having that reciprocated and him receiving that from a genuine place is not something he's ever done. So like when you gave him the necklace and he was like, this is the first thing anybody's ever given me, like as a gift, you know, those type of things. So all that being said, is there's really not a whole lot you can't do that wouldn't be a new thing for him.
Well, and that's also another thing with Renaya that I think is going to be fun to see in the future, is like Renaya is like very much the mindset of like, he's so out of my league. Like, he's a demon prince. He's a demon prince of pleasure. Like, I've been in one relationship before and it
ended well.
Really bad. And she's like, it's like, here's this, like, the essence of sexy man. And then there's me, which is like this little chipmunk that you like spray painted pink and handed a warhammer. And she's like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here.
Can I request fan art of a pink squirrel with a warhammer, please?
Lydia, get on that.
Are you telling me to do that? Because no.
I am. I'm asking that. DJ is asking everyone who ever sees this.
We're gonna have a competition.
Want to be flooded. There's no
Lydia
reward.
Is not allowed to compete in it. You know, top 2 voted on pieces of art of pink squirrels with warhammers
are officially the top 2. They did it. So congratulations on that.
So proud.
Yep, pride. That is your gosh dang prize.
Never mind. I was gonna say something really
stupid. I've been trying to cut you off for every single time you offer a reward.
I'm so proud of you, DJ, for stopping yourself.
It was really dumb.
I'm also.
But yeah,
I'll tell you afterwards.
I know you will. But yeah, I'm really excited. Because there's so many different avenues. I'm super nervous for just this next episode. Just as far as like Renaya either telling or not telling the other members what happened.
I'm down for anything.
It's really interesting because Graz'zt, the last thing Graz'zt wants to do is make you uncomfortable or unhappy. So he's very much gonna be like trying to match your energy. So depending on how you act in the next episode will determine a lot for the upcoming episode.
Meanwhile, her energy is just the whole time. No, I'm excited. It was fun. I didn't expect it at all. I was literally sitting there when she was talking, and I'm like, okay, I need DJ to cut me off and say something that like Graz'zt would say, because Graz'zt always knows what to say, and things are fine and things like that. And then I kind of stop my ramble, and then you're like, he kisses you, and I'm like,
that wasn't what I asked for.
Wait, like this isn't what I had in mind, but
Hold
okay.
On just a minute.
Like, I'm in.
Oh man.
This is the lesson to be learned. Okay, become a demon prince and pull your shot. You know, seize the moment.
Exactly.
There you go.
We do not, as a company, The opinions stated by our cast are entirely their own. We do not necessarily advise that you become a demon prince.
I mean, I'm working on it.
Shooting your shot, we do advise you to do. You don't have demon prince optional.
Well, I mean, Lydia, you already have title of like Eldritch Overlord.
Right.
Like, don't take a monopoly on all the cool gosh dang leadership
Why
positions
not?
in like any place that isn't the material plane. Well, you gotta share. Sharing is king.
With who? With who?
I don't know. Some other upstart punk who's good at art.
I want.
I think
who has a really cool store that you could buy merchandise off of and help support your favorite content creator, which we all know to be Lydia Corinne, because she is beating us on Twitch followers, even though she's only streamed once.
By one, just by one now.
And you could change that. I'm looking at you. You know who you are. Especially if this is on YouTube.
Get over there.
You could change. You could make a difference.
Choose which team you're on. Team Lydia or Team Paper
Lydia
Dungeon.
Corinne at her own game.
I like that. I like that either way they're choosing Team Lydia.
Yeah. Well, there's no losing.
I mean, I don't lose.
Exactly. It's
right.
I ruled the material plane.
Still in use since the day we met, Lydia.
Yeah.
Aaron, I think I've been spending too much time with DJ. I'm getting scared.
You get used to it.
Nothing wrong with being, perfect. So.
Look, if there was something wrong with being perfect, it wouldn't be perfection.
Exactly.
I don't see the lie.
Anyways, other things happened in this episode theoretically.
Other things that Kelly died.
Kelly died. Oh my gosh.
Kelly, okay.
That was probably my favorite part of the of going into the wastes, I think. Just because it was like, it's literally we're sitting there and we're totally fine, but you just have to watch this horror happen. And it's like the most gruesome, like terrifying thing.
Saying, you can take the gosh dang spirit out of the camel, but you can't take the camel out of the spirit. All right?
Rip Kelly.
Kelly will be back. It may not.
Literally.
But
Kelly literally like rip.
Yeah.
And then Drew, being the amazing man that he is, making me clarify on the spells. That kind of made me sad, but we made it work.
That's okay. I liked the flare.
I mean, it's the freaking Scarlet Wastes. What else
yeah.
are we supposed to do?
Exactly.
Also, can we talk about how like that chick lifted the whole camel?
Yeah.
Camel,
well, I mean,
blood,
it's a celestial.
Dude,
it's made of like feathers and joy.
Yeah, it gave me between the rose vibes.
I just watched a video. I've been really enjoying. There's been this new channel that popped up on YouTube where they'll just break down like all the different species of this type of things, like all the different species of like birds of prey and blah blah blah. And they talked about.
Is it Tier Zoo?
I don't know. But anyway, they talked about like hooved animals, like, and camels were one of them. And freaking like Arabian camels, the ones that like get no, not Arabian camels. I think Siberian camels or something like that.
I mean,
they're
Siberia
like
is
big
cool.
and furry, and they get up to like 2,500 pounds. Like they're huge. They're monsters.
Yeah. Camels are
That's a big camel.
Tanks. Imagine if you took a giraffe, compacted it, and then combined it with like a hippo and a cow. Mm-hmm. You just shoved them all into one thing.
All of those animals were all in that video.
Yeah, it's because they're all like the same kind of creature.
You know what else was in that video? Whales.
Does not surprise me.
Little shocking biology fact for you.
I mean,
anyway, highly recommend.
It's all mammals.
Videos on they are all mammals and they all have hooves. I don't know where a whale has hooves, but they do.
Have you ever seen the YouTube channel Tier Zoo, like TIERZOO?
No, but that sounds amazing.
So literally, they have a tier system of the animal like chain.
Is it like a Japanese tier system where it's like?
No, it's like the names of their videos are like why birds are broken, like and stuff like that, like why like certain animals have like a different. It's like they're playing an RPG with animals.
Oh, I need to find.
It's really good.
There
Check
was
it out.
these.
It's hilarious.
There's these animal videos that I used to watch, and it's this guy, and he takes like stock like videos of these animals, and he goes over like these really weird facts with them, but he reads them in like this classic voice, but it's like the most funny commentary on it.
I'm gonna be honest, Lydia.
Yeah.
I got really excited because when you said stocks, I thought you were talking about like company stocks, not like stock photos. And I was I was seriously about to be like, Lydia, have you heard of like Gary Vee? Bring it up.
We are gonna start this conversation again. Oh man. But anyway,
I'm really excited to make you upset.
Back to the topic.
Yeah.
Anyway, Aaron.
Oh my gosh.
What?
So like the wastes is your like baby.
Yeah.
How did you feel about the introduction?
I'm more just disappointed in myself. There was a whole lot more work that I wanted to put into the like quick reference guide for DJ, and so this is the thing, right? I also, yes, I have seen that. Besides the point. Oh, yo, Commune DM. Thanks for the raid. Hello. We're talking about Dungeons and Dragons. It's a fun time. But so this is the thing: when you make something for another person to like run or write about, or you just like you create anything for someone else to use and interact with.
A little different than
It's always different, and you're always like, it was so close, but like there's just a little thing, or there's a little like a vibe change. Right. Different. And a lot of it myself is like I really wanted to get more. I made a quick reference guide for DJ that covers like the theme and kind of things, but I really wanted to get all the stat blocks done. I did not expect the gosh dang formatting of the stat blocks to be so difficult. And I had completely forgotten the limitations that Google Drive has on documents and stuff like that. By the time I figured out how to do it in a different thing, it was already too late, and I didn't have this stuff. Now, I don't think you did anything wrong, DJ. There's just little things that I'm like, oh man, I wish I would have been able to like put this in there so you could get it across and stuff like that.
Well, I definitely agree, because even with like the Sand Brides, like I already know why those Sand Brides were the way that they were versus some other Sand Brides that are going to be a little bit more difficult to deal with.
Yeah.
You know, based on like different weaknesses and stuff like that. But even so, I got halfway through the encounter with the Sand Brides, and then I read the second half of the paragraph describing them, and I was like, oh.
So a little bit of information. So Sand Brides are actually they're an Athos monster from Dark Sun.
Ow!
Let's see.
Did you hear that?
I heard something.
I heard you go, ow.
Clunk. That was my knee.
Oh, there it is. So Sand Brides are from the Dark Sun. Gosh dang, I took the inspiration from the Dark Sun creature catalog from 4th edition, I believe.
Nice.
I want to say they're on like page 80 something. That sounds right. But the whole concept is, so if you know anything about Athos or Dark Sun or anything around those lines, what they are, what happened is magic went absolutely ballistic because a bunch of halflings, a bunch of freaks, and it like corrupted the landscape and the people in it and the creatures in it, and like ruined a whole bunch of things. And so they were once these benevolent fey creatures. That's how it's described in the book. But their homeland, since it has been slowly disintegrating into these like desertous wastes and things, they've just gone absolutely crazy. And so now they're super territorial. Anything that goes in, they are basically like desert sirens. So they like disguise themselves as, traditionally, like if you look at common mythology, it would be like they disguise themselves as a beautiful woman, and the like lackadaisical sailors just, you know, fall into their thieving grasps and then die. And so I wanted to get a lot of that across, but I added a couple of things because this isn't Athos. It's not the exact stuff. Oh, thank you. I'm glad that some of the Dark Sun vibes are coming across. I've never actually gotten to play it. I've always wanted to, though. But I added a lot of like illusion stuff to it. I wanted them to be a lot more. Instead of just disguising themselves, they can disguise entire areas. And one of the really cool things, and I want to make like 2 stat blocks for it, and I didn't get the chance to. I want to make one that is just your standard Sand Bride. Like, normally there's just one, and they're like around. Sometimes they might group up into like 2 or 3. But then I also want to make a stat block for like ancient Sand Brides that are like have been around since 600 years ago, or however long. And as they age, their power over illusion grows so strong that the things that they make in their illusion become reality. It's no longer an illusion itself. And I want to make it into like a challenge rating like 22 level like encounter, where like these things that you perceive as illusion can like physically interact with you as like layer actions and like passive effects of the area around it, and given an ability like, this is super rough draft, that can like their power over illusion is so much that basically what they believe is reality, so they could attempt to like believe you into non-existence. Like, they're just like, I refuse to acknowledge the fact that you exist, gone, like, kind of things, and like trapping people in illusions and things like that. And I really want like a meaty illusion based encounter. Didn't get to that. And there's so many things in there. I have so many stat blocks that I need to do. Keep an eye out, because one of these days, theoretically this weekend, in all honesty, it might even be tomorrow depending on what I've got going on, I might just go live just making stat blocks, so you guys can see kind of how I make like creatures and where my thought process kind of goes when designing stuff like that, because I know I find things like that real interesting.
That'd be cool.
And I like to do it, and it's also, if I tell myself I'm going to stream this, it's way more likely that I'll actually get it done.
Productivity.
I mean, I'm not putting any pressure on you, but I wouldn't mind if those stat blocks.
I'm working on it, dude. Also, the stat block that I got done is so clean. It's so good looking. I only got one of them done, but oh, and also that's a very good point. Please dump anything that you make homebrew wise, or anything along those lines in our Discord. I love to see it, because I take loads of inspiration from everything that I see. Even if it's just like an ability, or hold it up a little closer. Look how professionally that looks.
It's so clean. It's so good, Aaron.
Toasty.
It's good.
Thank you for hyping me up on that, Lydia.
I got you.
I think it sucks, but it's whatever.
I mean, I will also accept that take. Yeah, I love to see things that other people come up with. Sometimes it inspires me. Sometimes I just go, dang, these people are good at Dungeons and Dragons. Also,
but yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the last episode with the wastes because of.
Hold on, who is this?
I have traveled
Ew.
far and wide.
Gross! Get out of
to give
here.
you this food. For I am the food.
There's no straw.
Enjoy, young man.
There's no.
It's in the bag. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Wait, no, Greg, come back.
I knew. So just so you know, that was our that was our wonderful companion on the paper dungeon, Grant.
Oh, we get.
I'm not sure if you could tell because he was in a disguise, but we have an ongoing joke. Grant and I hang out a lot, and we go and get food all the time. The meme is that Grant just hates Arby's. Like, he just hates Arby's. And I've been trying to convince him for, like, maybe a good couple of months, because I used to just hop on the train like, yeah, haha, Arby's. Arby's is not that bad. All right, I'm gonna put it out on the limb. The opinions of the Paper Dungeon cast are not necessarily the opinion of the Paper Dungeon. Arby's is okay, and the entire reason, on their store, they sell an Arby's set of Dungeons and Dragons dice. They are hip with the kids. They are in it.
They have the meat, Aaron.
They have the meats.
They have the
Or
meat.
as Grant describes it, they have the piles of flesh. That is how, Grant describes it.
And that's where we lost our Arby's sponsorship.
Oh.
Hey, look, Grant doesn't deserve to be sponsored by Arby's. They're trying, okay?
Could you imagine if we got sponsored by Arby's and had Grant read it off?
Oh my! Hey Arby's. Hey Arby's. Just for just for a Table Scraps episode, I'll get Grant on here to read off the Arby's thing.
Oh my gosh, we'll read a whole Arby's commercial.
It'll be 4 hours of just Grant reading the Arby's. Yeah, shout out to Arby's. I think you're pretty all right. I like some of your stuff. I think it's pretty good.
They're hip with the kids, man.
But that's our non-sponsored shout out to Arby's. I think people left because I was talking about Arby's. Yeah, that was Grant. He's great. Sometimes.
Did he actually leave?
Yeah. Oh, he's gone. No, he's got places to be. Just came to drop off food and be an idiot.
What?
Yeah. Oh, jeez, is there a straw in the bag?
While you look for that, I'm gonna finish
finish
complimenting the wastes. So I really enjoyed the last episode because I was even telling my family going into it, I'm like, I'm really excited for the wastes, but I'm real nervous that it's just gonna be like just a bunch of combat. And like I enjoy combat, but I am kind of like one combat an episode is my favorite. Is when it's like you get one encounter and then you go and you do other stuff. And so I was like, I don't know how that's gonna go, but there was so much variety to the wastes, especially in this last episode. Like there were so many like different skill checks. There's like challenges we had to like navigate with like the stuff we had. Then there was the like creature element, which was terrifying, and even when we didn't have an encounter with them, we still got to see just how scary and like know that if we did go into that encounter, it would have been brutal.
Yeah.
It was just really cool. It was a really cool way of like bringing in all the different elements of how awful the wastes are in more ways than just scary monster.
Yeah, I mean...
Yes, very well done. Also, I love the fact that it was the thing that you would never expect to encounter in a desert. is the first threat.
Well, here's the thing. So, to go into that, Lydia, one of the things that helps with that is the fact that I made charts of random encounters.
So good.
And you guys rolled on it. But one of the things that Aaron had talked about how he wanted to put in, but wasn't able to actually touch on, was natural disasters in the waste. So I just looked it up. I just looked up desert natural disasters, and I got a couple different things. But one of them that came up was monsoon storms, like flooding in the desert, because when the desert rains, it like dumps on it, and then it just doesn't rain for the rest of the year.
And it is not known for being super good at like absorbing water either.
No, not at all. I was like, okay, cool. So we're gonna put tropical monsoon storm, and then I was laughing when it happened because Aaron and I had talked about it beforehand, because I showed Aaron the chart so he could look over it. That way, when he debriefed everybody, he could like debrief them on things that would actually happen and not be like, so this might happen, and then I just never touch on it. And so him and I were talking about it, and then I started cackling because when I had you guys roll after the break, and it was like, hey, monsoon storm, it was so perfect. It was great. It was
well,
awesome.
The best part was we hadn't even rolled yet, and you were like, yeah, there's some clouds gathering above the mountains and stuff. And then we rolled and landed on torrential rainfall.
It was great.
Like, which is, I noticed because I had looked over the like random encounter sheets and things like that, and I was like, all right, I'll know what's popping when it happens. but for the most part, like, I made most of these monsters, so the things that I don't know are going to be the, like, environmental things. But, like, most of those are pretty self-explanatory.
Uh-huh.
I had completely forgotten about the whole rain thing. That was, like, one little bar. Totally forgot about it.
It was pretty great.
I'm just like, I can't remember what had happened, but it was like Track needed to know what was like happening with the thing, and Track just goes, "It gonna rain."
It gonna rain.
Ryan, throwback to previous campaigns before the stream.
Yes.
Good job, Ryan.
I said that, and Ryan Ryan said that. I think it's a Family Guy thing.
Is it?
I think
I
that
don't
there's
know.
a character.
Ryan had made he made that one lizard folk stone
Yep.
or storm warlock or whatever, that storm sorcerer, that's what it was, who would say that all the time. He's just like, it's gonna rain.
It gonna rain. But yeah, like, so one of the things that I really wanted to get across with the Crimson Wastes is that, like, it's a horrible, terrible place filled with everything bad, but if you follow the rules of it, normally you can get by. It's the problem is entering in there blind is incredibly bad.
When you pulled the like, oh, I know what I did wrong. I was walking it like I did the way out when I needed to do it in reverse.
So a little bit of context: there's this place in the desert called the Burning Lands, which are the only access into the mountains that isn't surrounded by plants that could randomly open up and kill you. The thing is, it's connected to the plane of fire. What happens is, so there's a big mountain in the middle that is their, like, holy forge. It's a volcano, and it's connected to the plane of fire. Long time ago, there was a big fight, and we basically burnt the grasslands that became the wastes and the prairie lands and stuff like that. And a fae cursed the land, and it became the wastes. A fae that we have met, kind of killed one of our party members. It was great. It is called the Curse of Autumn, and when that happened, it, like, kind of drug the elemental plane of fire and just kind of raked across the land a little bit, so it actually left the mountain range a small amount. Goodbye, Wander.
I wonder.
And so now the plane of fire just periodically, like, roasts this land and, like, shoots up geysers of flame, and there's pools of lava, just pits of fiery death leads down to the lake of fire in the plane of fire.
I so was hoping to kill Lydia.
Oh man.
You could have.
She's roasted alive in the waste.
Dude, that would have sucked.
Like,
As the first challenge.
First thing you do, get into
First thing in the wastes, just immediately bursts into flames.
Talk about setting the mood.
Well, it was so good because, like, my character canonically at level, like, 1 went through these completely unscathed. Because he was given the path by his mentor, who was one of the dwarves that knows the proper way through. And I'm like, first of all, I blew it on all but one of the checks, I think. And I was fine, because I've got, like, 160 some health or something like that. 39 or something like that. So, like, okay, I can do that. I'm resistant to fire because I got these new fancy boots. Okay, great, whatever. But I'm like, how do we explain? I was racking my brain to think of how can we possibly explain why this is so bad, other than the fact that, like, everything sucks. And I'm like,
right.
What if Track just went through the same pattern as when he went through the first time, not forgetting that this time he was at the exit, not the entrance. And so he just followed the same path. So they're just, like, crossing the actual path at points. Just getting roasted.
Well, and DJ, you did such a great job with how, like, we just every single time, just, like, multiple of us failed, but you made, like, each one, like, so unique, and we,
you guys gotta learn from the players, you know, like, and then pockets. Pockets.
Oh man,
dude, the fact that he took 7 hit points exactly.
It's great.
I think my favorite thing of that entire session was Tarak just yelling at Ranaya not to cry to conserve water. It happened like 5 times. Like, no tears, no tears. You're just like breathing them back in, holding it back.
I'm gonna do it.
Man.
Every quote. It's like in Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Yep.
2 is the second one. I think
It's enough to make a grown man cry, but not this grown man.
This grown man. Get back in there, tear.
Yep. That was fun for me. I love the so extreme heat is such a weird environmental condition because it like kind of doesn't do anything at some points in time.
Doesn't, unless you guys have access to water. Which, if you have any like first level,
the first level spell create water,
you have access to create
80
food and water,
gallons.
and it just makes it so much worse.
We're gonna have to talk it out because I'm totally okay with making it worse.
Well, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be like, whatever, you can do your food and water, but the mental hazards of the waste is where I'm gonna just play into it.
That's solid.
I should send you the table of Out of the Abyss that deals with indefinite madness charts.
Yeah, send me that. That'd be great.
Who doesn't love some? I love indefinite madness. I've come up with a couple of things that cause it. We'll work it out. We'll work it out.
We'll work it out. We'll just make the waste worse.
Way worse. Yeah, and then there's just a lot of things. I love. The waste to me feels like an open world dungeon, like a dungeon crawl that doesn't have walls, which is exactly how I wanted it to feel. Like I wanted it to just be like, I would say around every corner, but there are no corners, so it's just all the time.
It's just every single step you take could be your last.
That would be,
can't waste it.
That's an excellent. We should use that as our.
That's so good.
Hold on.
Marshall, you're hired. Great.
Hold on.
Write that
You
down.
got it.
Wait for it.
I don't know if this is against terms of service, but I already did it. So.
What did you do?
Look at the stream title. Name the stream.
# get wasted. Table talks with table scrap. Nice.
So as long as we don't get banned in the next hour, we'll be fine.
Yeah, it's fine. You know, whatever.
We do not advocate for alcohol abuse. I just want to get that very clear. Us as the Paper Dungeon, we're against it. Now, beyond that, back to getting wasted.
Back to waste. One of my favorite things that happened in the last episode was when the rain started coming, and this is actually kind of a fun thing. So I remember thinking about Lehman's tiny hut and actually wondering about, does it protect the
Does it have a floor? Yeah.
Yeah, like, does it have a floor? And I never came up with the answer myself way back, 4 years ago when I first thought of that. So I'm very much enjoying the fact, because Lehman's tiny hut is a busted spell. It's
it's real good.
It's really, really good. But I enjoy the fact that there is potential for there to be a weakness to it, which is really cool. So I'm really glad that we established that A, it doesn't have a floor, and then B, my favorite thing that happened because of that was when you just looked at me and you're like, so DJ, what's the right answer? What should I do here?
Well, so the thing is, right?
What would Tarak do in this situation?
Most of the desert things, right? I know how to deal with them, how to interact with them. Tarak has been through a monsoon season before. Tarak would know what to do. Out of all the things that I had like prepped, I'm like, okay, what do you do in desert situations like this? What do I do? Blah 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 blah. When this creature comes along,
right?
I didn't think about what happens when it rains. So I'm like, Tarak would know what to do here.
It freaking floods.
What would Tarak do?
Water that's
DM?
suffocating. Terrible.
Like,
that was funny.
It was pretty great. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, but little trick for DMs if you have players that are aggressively using Lehman's tiny hut, as we've just encountered, the floor is non-present, so anything that has a burrowing speed or ground sense, even though they couldn't see you, would still be able to detect your presence because you're on the ground. And also they can still enter the tiny hut from below.
Yes.
So
now it's still busted, because anything that can't burrow, like say you're in like a dragon's horde,
Yep.
and you put it on the base of the cave, like the dragon's not gonna be able to get to you for your 8 hours. You know.
Just
But,
imagine if they made a mistake and made it like one action to cast.
Dude, it would have been crazy.
They're just like, panic bubble. Done.
Yeah.
Nothing could stop you.
Well, I thought it was 10 minutes at first, so I was really excited.
Yeah, you can
because I was
cast
like,
it as a
great, you guys are
ritual.
gonna have to like fight off the Sandbrides while Edward's casting the spell. It's gonna be great. And then he was like, "Nah, it's 1 minute," and I was like, "Okay, well, 1 minute doesn't give you enough time to start combat."
Mm-hmm.
Like technically, I could if you follow the 6-second rule, blah blah blah. But like actually speaking, no.
Well,
not.
and that would also really suck for Grant too, because it's then Grant has to spend 10 rounds literally doing nothing but casting a spell and starting over if he gets interrupted.
It does really suck for Grant, but at the same time, it's also a really fun challenge, I think, because you guys are having to deal with the fact that your main source of support, quote unquote, is out of the game. And you're having to protect him while he's.
I thought our main source of support was Renaya.
That I mean, I put quotations around it. Technically, if you look at his class and the subclass that he's taken,
I thought that Edward was just like 64 hit points.
He's a meat shield.
I wouldn't even go that far. You have to be good at taking damage in order to be considered a meat shield.
True, that's right. That's an insult to Drac.
Exactly. Yeah, Edward, in Grant's own words, Edward is a flesh shield. It's just a pile of flesh on 2 buns. Kind of like this delicious classic beef and cheddar.
It's true.
From Arby's.
We're gonna...
They have the meats.
But talking about Grant and Edward specifically, something... I don't know if you guys have been doing this on purpose, but something I was thinking about the other day is you guys have been training for a while.
Yeah.
Like a good while now. So I think... Don't tell Grant this. Grant, if you're watching... mute yourself.
I'll ban him.
But I think I'm probably gonna give him a stat bonus when he levels up to level 10.
Ooh, tasty.
Ooh, wait. What level are we at?
You guys are currently level 9.
Whoa. So for some reason, my brain thought we were level 8, but no, we're
That's
not.
because you guys were level 8 for like all of 4 episodes, and then you got bumped up to level 9 so you could survive.
Hey, DJ, when are we leveling up again?
Hey,
stab
DJ. Also, can I
I
just
gave
say,
you 2 level ups in 6 weeks.
oh my God, Grant, you are here. I'm eating this delicious beef and cheddar. What did you get me from? I told you to surprise me. What is this A5 sauce? What is happening? I'm sorry.
Level up everyone but Renaya. Yes.
No,
but
Warlock.
So Halcyon mentioned this is something that I have not gotten to use in a game, but they bring up an incredible point. Peat bogs are terrifying. Do you know what peat bogs are? So it's they're bogs, hence the name peat bog, that look just like normal ground. And then suddenly you'll step and just be like 20 feet below the earth. Yeah. Like, you can just die immediately.
Well, it's you know how like you make like a pit trap where it's like you have the pit and then you just cover it with grass to make it look normal?
It's that.
That's the whole
naturally.
landscape. That's a natural pit trap where they just cover it with this soft little grass that you just step right through
and you don't even
drown.
You drown. You don't even die from like falling a long ways. You just suffocate in mud.
Yeah.
Peat bogs are terrifying. Like, I so want to include it in a like in any form of Dungeons and Dragons thing. In a very I might even throw something kind of similar into the waste. I might add it into the quick guide because I love it so much.
I don't think it'd end up in the waste, but I do want to incorporate it, and I also think I already know what's gonna happen. Is we're gonna have a very much like bridge situation again.
Mm-hmm.
No. I'm gonna be like,
no,
hey, just honor unit every single step, and then you guys are gonna be like, what? How can we figure out how to get past this? And I'm gonna be like, you don't get past this, you just die. That's the environment.
So here's the thing, I'm super down with it, as long as there is a way to detect it, because you can detect if we're gonna die in peat bog.
You have to get down. To be on eye level.
This is why in classic D&D, a 10-foot pole is always included in your adventuring kit. They'd use it to like tap the ground 10 feet in front of them to determine whether or not there was any like traps or unseen things that they couldn't tell.
See, I don't like that. That makes the game too easy, you know?
I mean, you still had to roll a check for it.
Yeah. No.
But it meant that when you do that check, you're at least far enough that if something does explode, you're not directly on it.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's all I say is there, as long as there is a, like, if we are traveling through like a forest or something or a bog, there's some kind of check that implies that you can figure out how not to die, except leaving up to a coin flip every single 5 feet, which is not something I recommend, because Aaron will get
that was
Aaron
one of my
will get
favorite
angry.
episodes.
I will get upset.
I love that.
Aaron gets mad.
I will look at you and I will say, DJ, I disagree with your decision.
Upset.
You know, Aaron, that's okay.
Good.
Here, that's the beautiful thing about Dungeons and Dragons, is that it's everybody's own game. You know, like I can play it differently than you play it, and you know.
I'm just saying,
'cause
this
I'm the
beef
DM,
and
I can
cheddar
do
kind
whatever
of
I want.
slaps.
I'm just kidding.
Like, I don't know Grant's
Stupid.
problem. It's a good gosh dang sandwich. Shout out to Arby's. If Arby's wants to support us by sending us
No.
cool Dungeons & Dragons dice with a 10-gallon hat in them, I will not object.
That would be pretty rad.
That would be sick, dude. I'd use those all the time.
No, we're not making an Arby's command.
We should make an Arby's command just for
No.
Grant and I to send at Arby's.
First of all, one question for you, Maz. How did your session 1 go?
Yeah. Tell us about it. Just for
Yeah.
context.
Yeah.
Our wonderful viewer Maz, one of our Wizards of the Coast, recently started their own game, their own campaign. They sent a whole bunch of super cool lore stuff in our Discord that you can absolutely check out. Be there. It's super awesome. You can look at Maz's game stuff and it's really, really good. Recently had their first session. I am also interested in how it went. I heard that it went well.
I am as well.
And I heard something about
it went
rats.
well, and rats and t-shirts, and that's all you gave me. So
Nice.
So
And
either
the
send
second
it here or
session-
send it on the Discord. We need to know. The
We
people
need to
want
know.
Maz.
Is easy because you spend the whole first session getting everybody together just so that they can talk to each other. And then the second session, all you have to do is really simple. You just have to make them talk to each other. Because there's so much tea that can be spilled from the second episode.
Yeah, you don't even have to
And if you
work.
just lock them in a room and then say, all right, do your thing, you can just sit back for about 2 hours. It's pretty great.
take it away, Penny.
Or if you have a more combat focused group, just throw like a CR like 3 monster at them, and that will take up 2 hours of time too.
Whatever difficulty you think that your party can handle, add at least 1 challenge rating to it. That is,
Or double the amount number of creatures. It's a good
if you
way.
want to get real complicated, make it multiple different types of monsters. Take 1 real big one and then different monsters that are of a
Little
different
mini.
challenge rating. It gets really confusing real fast.
It gets really bad really fast.
Mhm.
But the nice thing about it is, if you feel like you made it, here's the thing. Okay, it's hard to make a
Double lactose milk. I'm sorry. I need to address this. I need to address this. Maz, did you just say that there is officially in your campaign a thing that is milk with double the lactose?
He drank
Okay.
double lactose milk.
I'm
Nice.
in.
The rogue is severely lactose intolerant, and he drank double
It's
lactose
really
milk.
thick milk.
Just real thick milk.
It's milk.
It
Oh,
should have
no.
like 7 C's. But here's my random piece of encounter building
Cheddar's so
advice.
orange.
It is hard.
Tastes great,
I think
though.
it's harder to make an encounter more difficult once you've already started it in a tasteful way. But it is really easy to make an encounter less difficult because you're always in control of hit points. So you can always just make it so they have 100 less hit points conveniently. and
Aim
then
for the
it's still really
stars
tasteful.
and expect to land somewhere in the atmosphere.
That's not that saying.
That's actually pretty good. I'm gonna use that.
No, the saying is shoot for the moon, and even if you miss, you'll land amongst the stars.
No, that's way
That's
too
not. That's a
positive. That is
little.
way
That's
too-
not realistic.
I get roasted all the time for misquoting quotes, and the fact that I'm correcting you this one time makes me happy. Deal with it.
This is you happy?
I knew what the quote was. The intention was to say a quote that was more realistic.
That was more realistic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
or at
Lydia.
least applies to
Yeah.
the actual situation, because
Make me
it doesn't get better.
mistake.
Also,
My
that happened
RBS
to
is
like
Look how happy I am.
that happened to like the Apollo mission or something like that, where they shot for the moon and they almost landed among the stars, and it was not pretty. All right.
Okay, we don't need to bring that up. So yeah. Anyway. Oh wait. I was ready to have some rats and then just gonna run away from me. Oh, the T-shirt was a Terran Keeper's son's T-shirt, and he is now missing. The
Good
kid's
plot
t-shirt.
line.
You need to put the missing kid on the Filk carton.
Yes, please.
Ah!
Please do that. That's a good one.
I got you, Maz. Freaking
Also, if you want
genius.
fun little creatures to throw into your thing that I think like low level encounters can be kind of boring because it's always like you're either fighting goblins or rats. Look up the Fluffy Folio on Twitter. They make great little tiny monsters.
They're incredible.
They're so fun. My favorite ones are the little baby skeleton cleaning crew, where their whole job is to clean a dungeon and then kill things. It's awesome.
I love anyone who hasn't seen Fluffy Fellow's stuff on Twitter.
Go watch it.
Find
Go
it.
watch it
Because
look at it.
they are incredible artists, and they make good stat blocks, which are normally things that you have to find separately. And they just do it at the same time, and they're like super creative, super interesting. They relate to things really well, and it's just a very quality account. Shout out to them. You're super cool. Third level. Okay, so this is an interesting question for both of you, from both a DM and player perspective. Starting level for campaigns.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts?
So, I know my thoughts.
I know my thoughts.
Angle it towards the...
So here's my thought process. It depends on the type of playing your party likes to do.
I would agree.
Is my thought process. Because if you have a more roleplay heavy group, then I think starting at level 1 and going through some of those really formative moments of your early subclasses, like paladins taking O's, clerics with their devotions, warlocks with their patrons, some of those really like developmental things that you get in the first few levels, I think is super cool to roleplay through. If you're not so much a roleplay group and you're more just here to have fun, if you're here to just hang out,
burn, murder, kill,
hold on yards, then I think starting at level 3 or higher is really good, because then you already have all those things. You skip past kind of your weak phase, quote unquote, and you're already really cool and way stronger than most of the NPCs are going to be anyway. So that's my thought process. If you like roleplay, start at level 1. If you like combat and loot, start at level 3.
Lydia, thoughts, opinions?
A similar mindset, but I also have the element of like how experienced you are. So if you don't have a lot of experience and haven't played a lot, or you're playing like a completely new class that you've never touched before, starting at level 1 is best, so then you can learn the abilities and then grow as you go. But like even level 3 is fine to start at if you're starting with a new class, especially then because you're starting right with the exact one you wanted for your character, with your subclass and things like that. So that's my thing with it is...
That's a really good point about starting with like things that you want. Like even like a real life example is Aaron has a character that I absolutely adore, that he thought about playing for this campaign, but he chose not to play it because we were starting at level 1, and the aesthetic that he needed for the character to like properly portray him, you need like what, 5 levels or 3 levels or something like that?
Yeah, there is like a certain amount, like the character is pretty experienced, like very experienced in like adventure and combat and things like that. So I needed them to be probably like level 6 feels like the cutoff point. Off the top of my head. I would have to relook and stuff, but
yeah. So that's a good point, Lydia, that you made.
Yeah.
Good example.
So my opinion on starting level is kind of in between. It combines elements of both of those.
Like level 2.
No. I would like to raise. So, if I have a party that hasn't played Dungeons and Dragons before, or is super new, or they're wanting the legit, like, we're in it for the long haul campaign, I start them at level 1. Just because they get a lot of time to figure out their characters, they get to learn the stuff. They figure out their relationships a lot easier because you have to actually rely on other people at early levels, instead of just like, I can just do this all myself, like stuff like that. But my personal favorite, and something that I would raise, I think should become a lot more popularized, is starting at level 4. I think that so the thing is, right, level 4, what happens at level 4? Either a stat increase or a feat, which means that if you're making a character and you want it to be super themed or like have a specific thing, there's a lot of character concepts that almost can't function unless you have a specific feat. Like if you want to be someone who dual wields longswords, the only class that can do that at level 1, or the only race, is variant human, because they get a feat. It opens up that opportunity for every single race and class combination to like have that thing that really makes their character. If you want to be good on horseback, you can get the gosh dang mounted combatant feat, things like that. And there's so many things that those feats can really turn as both a power gaming type of style and a like roleplay type of style. Yeah, or the custom origin from Tasha's.
We don't talk about custom origin.
We don't talk about Tasha's. I'm trying to make a point here, man. Stop proving me
Dungeons
wrong.
and Dragons here.
But like just using the we're playing, but just using the like, especially if they're like new players or they don't have access to all the books and stuff, just using the base player's handbook and things. Variant Human is the only one that can do that, and I play a lot of characters that really thrive off of a specific like feat or something that allows them to do something different.
Half the time I feel like Aaron looks through the feats and is like, that one, I'm gonna make a character based
I have
on that
I have
feat.
done that more times than I could possibly tell you.
Yes, exactly.
Because feats are super cool and they keep coming out with cooler ones, and a lot of them are really, really good. And the other thing is, if you start at level 3 and you level up, it's like kind of a lame level up in my opinion, because it's like, for the people who aren't taking feats, it's like, nice, we just defeated this thing, we've done our first mission, we level up and we get a +2 to charisma. Like, wow. Which is, it's like really good. That +1 like really helps and stuff. And for the people who are taking feats, they go, sweet, we leveled up. Well, I already know what I'm doing, and now officially I can play a somewhat comprehensive character, kind of. That feels lame to me. You hit level 5, like you go from level 4 to level 5, you get people who are like, I can now attack twice in a turn. You get like different spells. 5, I think, is 3rd level spells, right? Something like that? No. 5 is like...
No, 2nd level spells.
2nd level spells? You get a new type of spell. Like... No... Are you sure it's not 3? I think it might be 3. It might be. I'm not sure. But you get like...
5th level, you do get access to 3rd level spells, yeah.
Exactly. So now you've got these super sick new... You get Fireball if you're a wizard. You get like... I don't know, whatever other 3rd level spell people like. You get a clear and definite power up compared from going... Yeah, Revivify. You get a clear and definite power up compared from going from 3 to 4. So I love 4th level starts for characters, because you start off with a character that is basically fully formed. They know exactly what they want to do, and they can do it. And then as you go, you get to start off with a bang of like, not only did we start really rad, we just got radder. So if I am starting a campaign that is homebrewed and it is with people that aren't new, or I know that it's not going to be like a 6-year like Dungeons and Dragons game or something like that, I start with level 4 because I love myself some level 4 characters. So that is my Dungeons and Dragons take of the day.
Valid. Stop.
Brought to you by Arby's.
No, it's not.
We have the meats.
No, we don't.
Are you sure? Because I have a second sandwich. I don't know what it is. Anyway.
Snack break.
I'm not sure if that is bacon, roast beef, or chicken. It is a meat, though.
Oh no, DJ, don't leave me here.
I appreciate that Maz is trying to get...
Is trying so hard to make it a command.
For exclamation point Arby's. I support it. Hey, start a poll in the Discord as to whether or not we should add an Arby's gosh dang command.
I'll make an
Is this
Arby's
a
command.
French dip?
Only
What
for
is
you,
this?
Maz. I don't know. Maz, what do you want the Arby's command to say? It's yours. I'll make it for you. You just tell me. It won't be today, though.
Please tell me it's just we have the meats. Please tell me. I want this so bad. Anyways, this has to be a French dip.
I'm waiting, Maz.
Oh man, it's never going to come up then,
That's never
Maz.
gonna happen again, Maz. But also,
We have
Alright,
the meats
I'll
one.
do that. Okay.
I will buy Arby's more, specifically for this counter. Yeah, back to Dungeons and Dragons. Other than talking about this mysterious sandwich of some kind. Still tastes good. Man, I'm excited.
I am too. I'm having a blast with this.
I'm excited for. So this is completely besides the point.
The sandwich is not the big that I like it.
I would appreciate this. Thank you. The worst part is Arby's will never know how much I support them.
Never say never.
Never say never.
Anyway, so what are you saying?
There was
That's
a
about
moment in the campaign, in this last session, that I go, "Hey DJ, what are the name of those two outcroppings of rock?" And he goes, "I don't know. Let me think for a second." I go, "I have a name if you would be okay with it." Because beforehand, I was sitting there and I knew that these two rock outcroppings were there because DJ showed me the map before. He's talked about like kind of the geographic things that were in it.
Right.
And my first thought is like, literally, there's no explanation for it. I don't put any. It's not like I sat there and thought about this. He says, there are these two big outcroppings of rock, and I go, the twin pillars of Dern. And that's literally where the first thing that my brain thinks when he mentions it. And I don't say it out loud because I'm like, he's probably got some plan for these, like some name that he's gonna come up with. So then he's like, no, let me think about that for a second. I'm like, my chance. I don't even know why. I just think that it sounds cool. The twin pillars of Dern. I'm gonna come up with some kind of lore for him, and I'm excited about it. Tell me that he just got Arby's.
I didn't bother to think of a name. I didn't even think about that.
He did not get Arby's.
No, I have yogurt and bread with butter and chalky milk.
That's not nearly as good as this mysterious French dip that might have bacon in it. But I'm very concerned. Thank you very much, Maz. It's spelled D-Y-R-N-N because this is fantasy. We don't use unless they have like a umlaut or something.
Maz is DMing their first campaign. They haven't learned yet.
Yeah, it's true. So, a little hint, Maz, when it comes to naming things, the more Y's and apostrophes you can put into a name, the cooler it'll sound and look. Especially if it ends up being...
Phonetic.
Huh?
Also make it very phonetic because that'll make your life much easier.
Yeah, but and then, except for the ones that you really want to be, like, really dumb, where it's like, it's spelled like H-Y-L apostrophe K-R-R-N space underscore D-R-Y-T-H. Yeah, and then it's just like Kyle. It's not. It's just. It has like nothing to do with the actual thing.
That's fine. But the H and the Y and the L and the M are all silent.
Yeah, it's the entire word is silent, and it just all the letters are silent, and it just spells like Devon or something like that. Like that's how it's pronounced. Those are great. Yes, Maz, you're already on it. You don't say hill. You say hill, and it sounds the exact same. But it's with a Y.
Sounds high.
I wish... Oh, actually, this is another good topic. So you know, there's a weird thing when it comes to accents for, like, different races and stuff. So like, dwarves are always perceived as, like, Scottish, or like, oh yeah, we dafty, like, some kind of weird Irish, Scottish thing. But, like, the language itself is actually kind of elegant, which is the complete opposite of how it should be. I feel like dwarves should be, like, Russian or German.
Yeah.
Like, very, like, harsh, guttural, and then, like if you're going, like, traditional fantasy. And then elves should actually be, like, like, Gaelic, or like, some, like, love, like, language, like Italian or French, or something like that. I think canonically, according to Chris Perkins, Drow are French. That is the accent used for Drow. Let me tell you, Halcyon, I'm imagining it, and it's great. Accents are so cool, and I'm so not good at them.
Wait, I was actually, like, thinking, like, you did the, like, Scottish accent. I'm like, I want to hear how many accents Aaron can do.
Not as many as it seems, and most of them are probably offensive.
Never mind. We won't go through that.
That is my favorite accent. Is just the Lucky Charms guy. Just for any, literally, I use it for so many different things. Like, it's an old woman. Oh, you wee little lass. Like, oh, I'm here to bake you some cookies. Or like, just anywhere. You can just throw the accent anywhere, and it just works. It just works. If I want to make fun of Melora, it just works. Oh, didn't a fish.
So what?
Picking up some bread.
I have 3 go-to accents for my D&D characters. Do you have go-to accents?
So I actually talked to Grant recently about this, because he was talking about, we were figuring out his, like, he's like, what happens if Edward dies? I should have a backup for it. And what happens about like campaign 2? Like, I should start thinking about that. I'm like, that's very good. And then it was 2 hours of complete nonsense, because Grant can't make a character serious to save his life, and then like 30 minutes of actual work, and it turned out really well. But he was really concerned about accents, because he's like, I want to do an accent, but I'm not good at any of them, and I just feel like I'm wimping out if I don't. And the thing is, accents are not important. What is more important is tone, timbre, and pitch. Like, you can make a million different voices if all you do is you change how, like, high or low the voice is. And then you change how phonetically you would say things. So, like, let's take for Trek, for example. Trek doesn't have an accent. Trek's accent is literally me talking in my normal voice, and then I just bring my jaw forward and bring my voice lower into my throat. And because my jaw is forward, it causes a lisp. So, because I cannot correctly move my tongue. So then I'm back here, and now I'm Trek. But in reality, I'm just talking the same as I normally do, and my jaw's a little bit forward. So if you want to do accents, do I have a go-to accent for a character? No. My go-to accent is just raising or lowering the pitch of my voice, and then just changing how I might move my mouth in specific sentences, which gives a different feel to it. If I want to be more, like, highfalutin and rich, then I might bring it higher into, like, my nasal cavity and speak kind of where DJ does normally, and then just kind of purse my mouth a little bit so the words come out almost like wetter and faster. And it isn't quite an accent, but I just don't move my mouth as much when I speak. And things like that. And accents are really cool, but if you can't pull them off and you still want to do a different voice, don't focus on the accents. Focus on how you can change your voice naturally and talk the exact same. And then in your spare time, think like, listen to a bunch of random people talk in different accents, and it's super cool. And then try to figure them out as you go.
Another really good thing, I'm terrible at accents, so I'm not really one to give advice. But a piece of advice that was given to me a little while ago was different accents or people have different like go-to phrases. So figure out like specific phrases that your character would have, and that will help you kind of create their own accent, quote unquote. Yeah, there you go. That's
I'll finish chewing this before I speak. Someone stall.
Yeah, I have to have a phrase I go to if I lose Renaya. Oh God, that's how I get back to Renaya.
It's not there
I
yet,
just
Maz.
freak out. What happened?
Job on that
No.
stall, Lydia.
Maz, it's not
What?
there.
What did I do? Oh, I didn't do the Arby's command yet. Yeah, no, you're gonna have to wait.
Yeah, it'll take some time, but be patient. Patience is a virtue, Maz.
Gosh, Maz. Come on,
so
man.
I do this for accents too.
You need to be incredibly patient.
So it's faded a lot because I stopped working on it. But there was a character that I played that had a like really stereotypical Australian accent. And I really wanted to go over the top with it, so I worked on it really long. And what I found was it was a lot easier for me to go into the accent if I have a specific phrase that I can think of, or a word that like really encapsulates the accent. Thanks.
I got you.
And so for Australian, the word was rainbow. Because it has, like if you say it in a very, very stereotypical Australian accent, it turns into Rhinebay, and which is so different from how the actual word is. And then so I would go Rhinebay can run at nearly 15 miles an hour, and then I would enter into the accent, and that's how I would have to get into it before every single game. Is like it would be like, all right, time to play D&D. I'm like Rhinebay can run at nearly 15 miles an hour. And then I would be into it. And you actually saw it in the Halloween one-shot we did, where I played the changeling that had like multiple different personalities and looks to the character. I loved that character. And one of them was Tracker. I'm here to... I think the blood moon's about to rise.
I think the blood moon's about to rise.
You know, I didn't realize that this was a goal of mine, but I now have a goal to play a character with a consistent Australian accent.
I think that's
it doesn't have to be a good Australian accent.
Yeah.
Just consistent.
Look, accents even among like America is crazy because you can find a different accent by walking down the street. And that's kind of the same place everywhere, just more broad, I think.
It would drive me nuts. Brass can say I seen it and it drives me nuts.
And it's so, like, if it isn't exactly spot on, there's probably someone that you sound pretty close to. And besides, in a fantasy world, these places don't exist. So it isn't that you have a bad Australian accent, it's that you have a really good fantasy accent that sounds kind of Australian.
It's true.
That's what you gotta do.
Our whole family is
simple. Do not tell your girlfriend about this episode of Table Scraps or let her watch the Halloween one shot.
There was a video that I saw the other day where it was this guy and he was walking in New York and he was like he's walking on a crosswalk and someone bumped into him and he was like, "Hey, I'm walking here," and she turned around and she like grabbed him by his
That's
like,
not how we speak.
"That's not how we talk. We don't talk like that. Okay? I don't ever want to hear you talk like that again." He's like, "Okay, sorry." She turns to leaves and he's like, "Forget about it." And she like chucks something at him. It was so funny.
Well, the best part is that like the reaction is still stereotypically.
Yeah, it's very New York.
Yeah, it's so like you do not like that combativeness.
It's so funny.
Oh man,
it throws me off like just moving to South Carolina here because everybody here is like Southern.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's got the rich Southern accent, and so I went from Indiana where we just sound.
Well, yeah, you're pure Midwest.
Midwest has the most neutral accent.
Yeah, we're neutral, and then everybody's like Southern, and it throws me off because I'm like, "Oh, where are you from?" I'm like, "Here, you're from here."
Yeah. And the best part is that, but what did I just say? The best part about it is that like if you do have an accent and you've been like raised in that accent, a lot of time you don't even realize that it's an accent. So like those like
That's what I was thinking about. I'm like, I must sound so weird to them.
And like people that have that like the super thick like southern like drawl that it's I've met some people that like when they're speaking I'm like I know that you are saying words in English. For the life of me, I could not tell you what anything 100%. Was in the past 5 minutes. And they like totally understand it because that and they like grow up in that and everyone talks like that and so you understand what they're saying. Then I realized that when I go, if I were to go to like the coast and say Viaduct, people would stare at me like I'm an absolute loon. I think that's absolutely incredible. Like when my mom was younger, born and raised Nebraska, she went to New York for like a internship learning opportunity thing, and she talks all the time where people looked at her like she was absolutely crazy because like she would walk in the streets and she would make eye contact with people that she was walking past, and that like terrified people. Like you don't that's like wasn't a thing that they did. She also had someone ask her if, and this is just the incredible cultural distinction, they asked her if they still had trouble with Indians, and she told them that they had to make sure that their windows were rolled up so arrows wouldn't get fired into the car. Like people were this was like in the like 80s, like something like that. Like that was how like wildly different. Now it's a little bit different now because like the internet is a lot more popularized, but it's hilarious and crazy to me how people cannot understand like or that people just don't know what is going on in the country. And I'm the same way. I know nothing about what's going on anywhere else pretty much. But it's like to think that they were like, this was like the 80s. They were like, are you guys still having trouble with that westward expansion? Is that still a thing?
No, we finished that.
It's like that was a while ago. People in California now.
Long time ago.
We
expanded like halfway into the Pacific. Have you heard of Hawaii?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like Alaska.
Bye, son.
Oh no.
Bye, son.
Are you leaving? Is this
Wait.
No, I was answering Marshall's.
You can't steal my joke.
Whoa, you're so loud, man.
That's because I was right up next to my thing. That was my joke. Shay wrote this for me. It's because I have a bison up on here. Okay? Bison are my
what
thing.
What a coincidence. A coinkadink.
Bison are my thing. Get out of here.
DJ
you
2022. Exactly like the westward expansion when they were like, bison are ours. We can hunt them as we want. And look where we are now, TJ.
Wait, on the Nebraska trip, there's a point that like Grant and I were hanging out, and he was just reading a bunch of jokes to me to see if I knew the end, and I like hit so many, and he's like, "How do you know these?" Like he got my favorite one. My go-to one is what did the number 0 say to the number 8?
I'm scared.
I don't know. What did 0 say to 8?
Nice belt.
Oh, I do know that one.
Uh-huh.
I think you've told me that one before.
Probably, it's my go-to.
It's really dumb.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna tell you like it is.
I feel really bad because I'll take a bite at the most inopportune moment, and then I just have to choose.
And it's just an awkward.
My go-to joke is incredibly offensive, but it's
well.
Really
then
funny.
Don't say
I'm not
it.
gonna say it, but it's really funny.
Just know it's hilarious. But we don't approve of it.
So funny.
I don't actually know what it is, and I don't.
I don't either. I don't want to know it.
But if you told me it, I'd know that I know what it is.
No, it's okay. Ryan laughs at it, so it's fine.
Anyway,
I don't know if I have a favorite joke. I'm not really a huge joke guy.
Why did
Aaron doesn't have lines. He has tiny.
Why did the vampire run out of the restaurant?
Okay, because they didn't have raw meat.
Tax evasion.
Because he found out it was a steakhouse.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you call Batman and Robin when they get run over by a bus?
Roadkill.
Flat man and ribbon. What do you call
This is my favorite segment.
a frog that wears sand? What do you call sandals that a frog wears?
Flip flops. Frog flops.
Open-toed shoes.
I like
Just
frog
toad.
flops. I thought that was
Toad. Like T-O-A-D. It was really good. Most of my jokes that I had when I was like younger and actually like made like jokes before I mastered timing and realized that I'm just naturally comedic. Were like blonde jokes. I don't know why, but that's like all I knew when I was younger.
I don't remember the setup for it, but you can't tune a piano. But you can tune a fish.
Well, it's the entire question is what's the difference between
a piano and a fish?
A piano and a fish. Yeah.
That one. That's it.
When you say the punchline and the audience is like,
this is.
You know the one.
It's like I saw there was a book that I read once.
Like I have nothing against your girlfriend, but she seems very easily offendable.
Well, tell your girlfriend to dye her hair or something, so she can laugh again.
Change it. Come on.
Hold on. Okay. I think we need to go into a new topic.
No. So there's this book that I read.
I tried to cover up with some fun time, and we got to offending Maz's girlfriend.
So just so you know, those of you still watching, we always start with Dungeons and Dragons. Very rarely do we end with Dungeons and Dragons. That's why we're in the just chatting section, among other things. There was a book that I read once. That like there was this kid, he shows up in a new school, and at lunch all the kids around him would just shout out a number, and then everyone in the group would, like in the lunchroom, would laugh. So he asked the person to the left of him, he was like what is going on here? And the kid was like, well, we only have one joke book in the library, and everyone's read it and memorized all the jokes, so instead of actually saying the joke, we'll just shout out a number, and then everyone knows the punchline. They know the whole joke. And so the kid goes, he checks out the joke book, he reads it, he memorizes it. And he, like, the next day, he goes back to the lunchroom and he, like, shouts out a number. Everyone laughs. He shouts out a number and everyone laughs. And then he shouts out another number and it goes completely silent. And he turns to the kid and he's like, I don't understand. I thought everyone knew all the jokes. And he goes, oh, yeah, everyone knows the jokes. That was just not any funny. And that was the entire thing. And it was a legitimate book that I read. And I'm like, this is terrible. I don't even know if this was supposed to be a joke or not.
That's very nice.
So yeah, so that's
there you go.
That was my statement on the whole. That was to relate to your saying the punchline, but not the start of it. That's what it made me think of, just to know where my brain kind of goes. You know the craziest part about this whole thing? Over the course of the last 5 minutes, where we've been talking about bad jokes, we've gained 3 viewers.
You're welcome.
So I don't know. Whatever we're doing, it's
What's the best time to go to the dentist?
Tooth hurty.
Tooth hurty. You know what's funnier than 24?
25.
25.
I am so sorry for everyone watching us today. I apologize every time we have a table scraps. I just wanted everyone to know that. I love it, but I'm so sorry that this is what you choose to spend your time watching.
As content creators, are we really at that point where we're apologizing for someone watching the content we're creating?
That's been me for the past year.
Wow.
I've been apologizing for our content since we started. Have you seen our intro video? That's like, hey, so you found yourself on the Paper Dungeon website. Oh man.
Best video ever is still the Patreon.
The
trailer
Patreon.
Video.
Oh man, the Patreon.
That one is
video.
so good. That one always makes me cackle.
For those of you who don't know, we have like a Patreon. We have places you can donate if you're interested in supporting us. Stuff that you can gosh dang join, like TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, our Discord. I sincerely recommend you joining the Discord. And buying things off of Lydia's store, stuff like that. We also have like a Patreon and Ko-Fi and things. And to advertise our Patreon, I think it's Is it
It's
donate?
no, don't say it. Don't no. I gotta get it. I got it. I wanted to beat him. I did. I'm happy.
In order to create kind of like an intro video to the page, Grant and I recorded a video.
Oh no.
We recorded a video of me, and it was me being like it
Oh
starts
my
off
God,
the
it's
same
beautiful.
as the the Captain America thing where he's like, so you found yourself in detention. What are you gonna do about it? And it's literally just cut shots of me in our local YMCA in full I'm about to go play racquetball garb. And it literally just cuts between, and I just say things that are like, if you want to do this thing or this thing, blah 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 blah, this is who we are, this is what we do. It is sad how good of a video it is for how terrible
so
of a video it is.
Good.
You also
great.
Did you just spell it meat as in like a track meet, Lydia?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I just
See,
want
that
to be
right
very
there is the
clear
funniest
here.
thing in the last 10 minutes.
We tried so hard. Well, actually, we don't want to get copyright struck by Arby's, so maybe this is better.
What can I say?
But yeah, so I think
I'm
it's
better.
still on. Is it still on our YouTube?
Yep.
You can find it. You can find
Deep dive.
it. And let me tell you, it is worth the watch. My favorite scene in the whole thing is I finish a phrase and the camera doesn't cut away like it does in the past one. Then Grant just runs across into the background, misses a layup, and then slams into a wall, and then we cut the video. There's also a wonderful scene where I'm sitting on a chair. There's some random person in the background shooting hoops. That legitimately is a random person. We have no idea who that is. They were just in the gym, and we were like, hey man, we don't want to bother you. We're going to record a video. Do you mind? He's like, nah, dude, it's good. I'll just be here in the background. You won't see my face or anything. We're like, okay. So we just record it, and he's out there. You can hear him dribbling and shooting hoops. Oh man, that video was so scuffed.
Oh, it's so
and
good.
It really sets the vibe for who we are as the Paper Dungeon.
I
Specifically
love
for table
the face.
scraps.
I love DJ's hunting face.
It's
When he's
not
on the hunt for something, he goes.
I don't think it's on.
It's on YouTube.
Did Grant take it down? He might have.
It should.
Check the Patreon, because it might be on
Oh,
that
it's on the
page.
Patreon. Let's see. Maybe if I go to videos.
It should be on YouTube.
Because it used to be the thing up top, but I think Grant removed it from there. He may have
Oh,
archived.
No, we
I
changed
see.
it.
It's not in any of the. It's not in any of the playlists. That's
No,
right.
it's the
So look
first
up
video.
Patreon promo, the Paper Dungeon.
Or just
and
look up the Paper
enjoy
Dungeon.
That 1 minute and 23 seconds of pure cinematic gold.
By the way, the glasses that I wear in those videos are my prescription sports goggles.
If you
that
go
I
to our
wear
YouTube,
when I am playing aggressive volleyball.
you can go to our YouTube and you can find the videos and go from the oldest first. It is the one after episode 2 of our campaign.
We're gonna do. Boom! Look at this. Ready for this? Boom.
You're not allowed to post
Yeah,
links in the
that's
chat.
you
Classic
did wrong.
Rookie mistake.
Oh.
And the real power move would be putting it in our Discord.
That
and
would be a
then-
thing that you can do, and we can't. Well, I don't think we can stop you. Well, I mean, we could.
I mean, I could.
Whatever.
Maz, I'm going to point out the fact that you just misspelled glorious.
No, he spelled it like a DM.
He spelled it like a DM, Aaron.
you got me. You added more Y's. Never mind. I retract my statement. You did a great job. If the only thing that would have made it better is if you would have put an apostrophe between the R and the Y. Glorious.
Glorious.
Glorious. Maybe before and after the Y. Maybe that would be better too.
So, are we at the point where we can talk about the SWOT analysis now?
No,
No.
we will never, because you know what, DJ? We're at 1 hour and 54 minutes and 30 seconds, basically. Which means that theoretically, unless y'all have something specific that I will not veto us talking about.
I got nothing.
Nothing?
I don't think so.
Nothing? We can officially call this an end to this episode of Table Scraps. The hashtag Get Wasted episode of Table Scraps.
I love that it started romance and hashtag Get Wasted.
Romance Get Wasted. This is really like one of those.
But I feel like it'd be pulled out of context. So
this
so
is like
quickly.
basically Table Scraps. This episode of Table Scraps is the quintessential.
Oh yeah, I want to talk about our Lord and Savior Boggle.
No.
Vetoed. I'm gonna. Is there? What's the? Okay, we're just gonna delete that one. just real quick. Hopefully that doesn't do anything bad. I just thought it was funny. I will time you out, Maz. Don't tempt me.
No, don't time Maz out.
Anyway,
We need
yeah. This has been Table Scraps. This has been the quintessential like one of those dating TV shows. Like, I think very Bachelor, where it's like romance, get wasted. Like, I don't know. That's just what it makes me think of. But this has been Table Scraps, where we talk about Dungeons and Dragons for some of the time, then talk about literally anything else for the rest of it. I know that we already posted all the things. I'm going to do it again. Once again, contractually obligated. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Discord, especially Discord. I'm a big, gosh dang Discord guy. That's what I talk about. We also have YouTube Shorts, and those are really cool, and full YouTube videos. Grant's working on them now. Sorry if they're a little late. Things have been happening. We have a website where we have merch. But probably more importantly, Lydia also has a website where she sells merch, and it's really good. You should check it out. We are always down for an Arby's gosh dang sponsorship. So if any of you have contacts at Arby's, hit me up, dog. I'll do it myself. And if you want to support us, we have a Patreon and we have a Ko-Fi, and there's probably something else. But what supports us the most is you being here and you telling your friends and you following and just being around and you know, hanging out with us. So do that more. We like it. Join the Discord, learn about Maz's game. They've got t-shirts, they've got rats. Living the dream.
Yeah,
we can be upset at Maz's girlfriend for not hanging out with us and being blonde.
If you happen to see this, know that you're awesome and we have no beef with you.
Absolutely. But you know what we do have?
meats.
We do have the meats. That's how I'm going to end this episode of Table Scraps. Thank you all for showing up. It has been an absolute blast. I've got a sandwich and a quarter to finish wrapping up and eating. So, huh? What?
Sandwiches?
Well, no. So Grant got me a sandwich, and then he also got like a foot-long sandwich, and it's cut into half. So I've only been eating half the sandwich, and so I still have the other half and the quarter that I still need to eat. That's besides the point. The last thing that I have to leave you all with is good luck and Godspeed. We will see you next time, Dungeoneers.
Bye.
It has been a great time. Thank you, everyone.
I hit my nose.
Thank you very much. We will see you next time, everyone.